ClueCon Weekly, the FreeSwitch community's official web show. Tune in every week for updates in the FreeSwitch project, interesting presentations, and interact with members of the FreeSwitch community. ClueCon Weekly is brought to you by FreeSwitch Solutions, the officially endorsed consulting firm of the FreeSwitch project. FreeSwitch Solutions solves problems so you can focus on your business. Visit freeswitch.com for more information. The ClueCon WebRTC and Telephony Developers Conference. ClueCon is held every August in the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois. Meet the developers of all your favorite open source telephony projects, make the connections you need to meet your business goals, and see the latest and greatest technology in WebRTC and telephony. Visit ClueCon.com for more details.
Alright guys, welcome to ClueCon Weekly. Today, November the 4th, and we'll have Ray Keating with Pontimax joining us here shortly to talk about speech rec and all kinds of other fun stuff related to that. Last week, the guys have been working pretty hard, so there's not a lot to report there. Just keep an eye out. Help us with the docs team. Go to list.freeswitch.org, join the docs list, and see how you can help finish migrating the docs from the old wiki over to Confluence. There's several areas that need help there, and the team could really use your help, so help them out there. Mr. West, how are you doing today?
And let me unmute here, and you might hear me. I'm doing awesome today. How about you? It's been crazy.
Oh man, it's already been a fun day. So what you got going on the past week?
I think I'm going to do a follow-up video to the one we did last week, because there's a little few things that didn't go quite as I had planned. So I'll probably do an offline video and upload it as well to demonstrate that packet loss stuff we did last week. Other than that, I've just been testing, getting ready because 1.4 is approaching EOL rapidly. And so just shoring up and going through the bugs for 1.6 and trying to make sure everything's tested.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that we should seriously talk about for a second. So, and that's the 1.4 being EOL rapidly approaching. Is there anything you want to say about that other than we're probably looking at that happening sometime in the next 6 to 8 weeks?
Yes, you want to get 1.6 in your labs right now, if possible. Get it in your lab. Get to testing with it. Make sure your stuff works with it as you expect. If there's any bugs, we want to flush it out between now and the first of the year, so we have that time to prep. So guys, jump in and help us out. There's a lot still to do. A lot of people are helping us. We just need to flex it a little bit more. It's pretty stable. We use it every week. So we've been dog fooding this for the last 8 or 9 months now. So let's keep doing that.
Yeah, and we're already up to 1.6.2 also. So the 1.4 branch only has a handful more releases between now and the end of the year. And once that happens, it's definitely going out to the woodshed. So we may do a few small extreme security issue patches, but once it's done, and all the effort will go for 1.6 and any future things that would possibly end up in 1.6 or 1.8. So definitely you want to start getting that tested and start moving over to 1.6 now. If you're doing something brand new and you started it recently with 1.4, throw 1.4 out, get 1.6 in there now, because you're definitely going to miss the bus on that one. So, anything you want to add to that, Brian?
No, I think we've covered all of it. It's been great.
Cool. Miss King, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. It seems like a good day all around. This week was pretty quiet, but the features that we saw in the review are the addition of a new configuration setting in Mod Opus. It shows the decoder stats at the end of a call. And then SRTP and SRTCP crypto keys have been exposed as channel variables to help with some debugging. So when you're going and testing 1.6, you can kind of expand and debug a little better. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook because you'll get those announcements about our releases, upcoming releases, and when, as the impending 1.4 EOL, you'll get announcements on that. So that's about it.
Cool. Thank you very much. You guys be sure to check out Kathleen's post on freeswitch.org or follow at Twitter on FreeSwitch and Facebook/FreeSwitch also, and find out all the good stuff. And of course, all these videos that we're recording here are available on YouTube at youtube.com/FreeSwitch. Go to the FreeSwitch channel. You can subscribe and get the latest updates. You can also see in advance when we're going to be posting these videos live, and so you can watch on YouTube if you're not available to call in and participate here. So coming up, we've got Mr. Ray Keating with Pontimax. Ray, how are you doing today? Go ahead and unmute yourself and join us here.
I am now unmuted.
There you go. So you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
My firm is Pontimax Technologies, LLC. We've been in business about 16 years now, although we've done our primary line of business, which is product development under predecessor firms, going back well into the 1980s. We have generally concentrated on telecom-based systems, and in the telecom area, we've developed and or architected and led the development of two Signaling System 7 service control points or service platforms, one for detecting telephone fraud and the other for being able to accept telephone call charges on a MasterCard. We've also been very active on behalf of one of our clients in telecom standards process, particularly in data interchange. We published the first XML DTD for the telephone wholesale ordering data exchange. We've also done some product development for other firms, one of which is a research institute in Eugene, Oregon, that had a couple of grants from the National Institute of Disability and Rehabilitation Research. Did a lot of development and technology contributions in a new area of artificial intelligence, meta inferencing. Went on to develop a product that you can go to a website, www.yourconnected, that's yrconnected.com, and learn a little bit more about it. It's essentially for being able to infer immobility using on elderly. The process of developing that, we decided that our initial cut at it would be greatly enhanced by adding call processing features to it, so that, for example, when the system detects that the person is immobile, previously it sent out a bunch of SMS alerts to contact lists that the user had formed were to be notification contacts. Problem was that in this day and age when everything emits a text message, we thought it would be very possible for the person being notified that their loved one needs help, that they could, pass by, not notice the text message. So we said, what we really need to do is if the system notices the person is immobile, then they call them, okay, and say, hey, are you all right? And if they don't answer, or if they say, I need help, then we go ahead and we actually call the 911 conference them or bridge them, together. So they're talking directly to E911. So to do that, we turned to FreeSwitch, of which our good friend and technical colleague Dave Kompel had been prizing us of the terrific capabilities of. So we said, okay, let's go ahead and do the call processing features in FreeSwitch. Well, when we implemented that, we also realized that we needed speech recognition, because if the person's lying there on the floor, they're not going to be able necessarily to hit the keypad for one, I'm okay, or two, I need help, right? It needed to be done via speech recognition. So we went out and looked at various possibilities for that, and some of which, of course, as people on the call know, are quite expensive. In fact, too expensive for the economics of the product. So we said, okay, well, let's see if we can use a high accuracy, well thought of, highly capable speech recognition that Microsoft has made available, called Speech Platform 11, and then we can develop a MRCP version 1 interface for that, and then we should be able to have a very capable speech recognition ability, and at a price that our product economics can accommodate. So that's what we did, and we put out a first alpha version, which has been in continuous test with Dave since about the first week of August, and then we put out a beta version, which is available on the Pontimax website, www.pontimax.com, and which you can download freely, and we'll provide you with a license key to use for 60 days. So and so that's where we're at, and it's been extensively tested, both with FreeSwitch, with Mod Uni MRCP, as well as with Arsen Chaloyan, I believe it's pronounced, with his Uni MRCP platforms that he makes available, the ASR client, and his Universal Management UMC console, which is the Uni MRCP client, and then he also has a Uni MRCP server. So we had a full round of development tools that we could bang against and make sure that we were compliant with the MRCP RFC, which is RFC 4463. And we then said, well, we need a demo program, and so we implemented, or re-implemented, I guess you would say, the classic pizza demo, and so we have that available for you today. We'll provide the number later, and you can call in and play with it and judge for yourself. So we're emphasizing that this high accuracy, low cost speech recognition using via the standard MRCP RFC 4463 version 1. And next. Next. Oh, there we go. So that was in fact our technical goal, and it reiterates that we combined the MRCP version 1, implemented a network server with the capabilities, combined with the capabilities of Microsoft Speech Platform 11, which we believe delivers literally an unbeatable price performance speech recognition combination. As I said earlier, we have exhaustively tested it both with FreeSwitch's mod Uni MRCP and as well as with Mr. Chaloyan's Uni MRCP suite of MRCP platforms, which, as almost I suppose everybody on the call will know, but I'll mention that, of course, mod Uni MRCP as well as the other soft switches are their MRCP implementations are based on the Uni MRCP suite. Next. Okay, it's just it's a you download it, you email us asking for a license key. We'll email you back with that license key. Then you just invoke the install, put in the license key, and it will install all of the prerequisites that are needed, which includes the speech platform 11 speech recognition engine, and it also downloads the U.S. English language module as a default. And then it installs it as a service in the OS server facility. That covers, I think, how you get it. And there's no charge for the beta license. There's no charge for what will be a 30-day trial license. The permanent license fees are two forms. One is $200 for a 3 concurrent channel license, or $1,000 with no specific channel limitations, just limited by the resources of the machine that you're running it on. Next. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we did implement a version of the pizza ordering, and because we thought, well, that's the classic FreeSwitch ASR demonstration program. So if you want to call the number here, 970-610-5010, you can go and try it out. Next. Okay, you want to contact us. It's real easy, of course. Here's my email and cell number, so you can talk to me directly. And then the website is the www.pontimax.com. I think that should be the last slide.
All right. All right, then. So does anybody have any questions for Ray or Dave in relation to the ASR here?
Well, let me add a couple things to that. Yeah, unfortunately, it runs on the dreaded Windows, but that's only the MRCP server. You can use it from anything. We've tried it across every platform, as a client, and there's no issues. So you're looking at, the minimum Windows server about $200. Microsoft licenses the speech engine for free to any Windows server license, and just adding this on, and you have a full bore MRCP server, and we have pounded the crap out of it, and it's it can handle the load.
So as far as using the MRCP here, what kind of scripting do you need to do on the FreeSwitch side?
Identical to using any speech recognition on the FreeSwitch side, since it's just using, the normal ASR functionality in FreeSwitch. It's specifying Uni MRCP as the engine, and that's all you got to do.
Yeah, it's perfectly same can as any other MRCP server. we implemented the. I will mention that we implemented the pizza demo using Dave's fine IVR classes, and we will make that available. Or Dave make.
That's always been available to everybody. All,
Yeah.
all of my .NET stuff.
Yeah, but he's recently
Yeah.
in the last several months enhanced it substantially, specifically for ASR interaction, I think it's really a really terrific way to implement ASR applications. So take a look at the code. You'll see it's quite straightforward. Doesn't really require any special C# skills to make. So I think some highly capable applications. You also see we did things like if you put in always have a repeat option. So all you have to do if you want to, you don't hear the prompt clearly, or you forget one of the earlier options, you just say repeat. So we added some other things just to fully leverage and show how those additional features in an ASR application could be very readily implemented. It also provides a full confidence check based on the recognition confidence value that's returned from the server. And you can see how that's used to determine whether or not, and also see how the user is prompted to confirm whether or not the recognition is correct. All of those confirmation messages support either verbal yes or no's, or the old press 2, and it accepts either the verbal or the DTMF as a response.
Cool.
You guys, I'll get the source code link I just posted in the channel.
Yeah, and we'll post that also in the notes on the YouTube video, along with all the other links to make it easy for people to click those. Now, what about load there, Dave? You said you guys point out that it's limited to the server that you're running it on. Do you guys have any kind of like an example? If you're running Windows on, say, like a dual quad core machine, about how many concurrency that you can get there, or is that really dependent on some other things?
I mean, it's dependent on the cores are and speed are just a small amount. Different machines, different buses, everything else. The two reference machines I've tried it on is on our cloud as a VM. The development box is an 8-core, 8 gig of memory, and 100 sessions is no problem on it. I have another VM that we just used as a target for testing, which is 2 cores and 2 gig of RAM, and I didn't see the CPU grind too much at 25 sessions even there. So I'm authorized to make a one-time offer. This cannot be reposted, but I'll give you a link in the channel in a second, that if you don't want to go through the expense of setting up the hardware and you want to try this out, hang on, I need to find the link. Through our cloud company, I have a special promo code here that will give you basically free or $100 worth of credit for 60 days. So if you need a quick VM and you want to try this out, and let me just get this posted in the channel. And this is for people on the meeting only. There we go.
All right, so yeah, we'll leave that off the notes on the video. And this is why you guys should show up on the call here, because people do make special offers like this on a regular basis. So
and
all right.
that will get you going. So if you want a Windows Server to just play around with it. Scale it to whatever you want. So if you want to try load tests at different sizes, just feel free to, change the memory and number of cores and do your own CPU tests. Now, there is one piece of bad news. Our stuff installs on Windows Server Core, but since Microsoft wrote the speech engine before they had the core installation option, it's using some APIs that do not work on Server Core. So unfortunately, it needs to be installed on server with a GUI. That's the only downside.
Cool. All right. So does anybody have any questions for Dave or Ray on the ASR engine here? All right, guys.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any documentation about which parts of the MRCP spec is supported, and as far as like the grammars go, how complex can the grammars be, and how much are there any like built-in grammar support, things like that?
Ray, that's for you to answer. I know they have a couple built-ins, and currently you're not supporting them.
Yeah, well, as people may know, the Microsoft supports the SRGS grammar standard. So generally, anything that's SRGS compliant should load, just fine. We've tested it with fairly complex grammars, and haven't seen that if the grammar's correct, that it will not process it properly and provide you with the correct return codes. Now, with respect to RFC 4463, we support all the basic ASR RTSP message types. Okay, I mean, that are required for ASR. There are some features within that we do not at this time support, like recording the waveform. Okay, although if customers were to say they would like that, then I suppose we could probably look at implementing it. But all of the RTSP and MRCP message and sub-message types are all supported. Did you have? Does that answer your question? And does it?
I was curious about that. Mostly about like the built-ins and the SRGS. But if it's just passing it through to Microsoft, then I guess I could look there for the documentation.
Yeah, right. But built-ins, no, we don't. We do not have at this time, any built-ins. And the other thing I'll mention is that in Dave's C# IVR libraries, the detect speech call, you can specify, the ASR recognition words and so forth that'll be put into the form of a online, direct grammar. So it generates when you use his C# libraries and the detect speech function. It's pretty simple. You as I said, you specify whatever the ASR words for the prompt, and then it generates the correct SRGS XML, and of course puts it across to the server.
Does the server have any capability for monitoring concurrent sessions on it? Anything like that?
Yes, there's logging that is freestyle type logging, and so you can examine, the logs separately. And
Let me interrupt on that for a second. It would take,
go ahead.
it would be very minor, and Ray, you probably should make a note of this, to add WMI performance counter for average and mat and peak channels, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I'd just like to know, if these servers are at risk of getting overused, you want to monitor in a production environment. It's easier to do it at the server than have every free switch try and keep track of that.
Yeah, it would be very easy to add those two WMI performance counters and have it track average, and each time a new session is created, recalculate average and keep a max, and you just get through the normal performance monitoring tools.
Okay, I've noted that. Thanks for that suggestion. That we'll, as Dave just said, we'll do it.
And I can help you out with the code to do that.
You bet. I was going to say in the log, however, it does note, when it's accepted a new session, how many concurrent sessions it has, and then when it when it terminates the particular session, then it, will provide you with the new count of the concurrent sessions.
So if you buy licenses for this server, what's like the update? How would updates work? Would you buy more licenses for updates? Would we expect to see bug fixes, that sort of thing?
Well, yeah. First of all, yeah, and we hope people who download and try out the beta version, we would greatly appreciate any bug reports, and they could just be emailed to us at the rayk at Pontimax.com. Okay, so, and then but then or on into the future, if someone reports a bug, we'll fix it, and they can upload the new version, and there'll be no charge, of course, for that. And as far as new versions that have additional capabilities, well then, yeah, that may well require a new license key, because it'll be a more capable version of the server. But it's that we'll have to see how that how we'll do that going forward. There are some new capabilities out there, as people may be aware, that Microsoft has in beta form itself, and so if we incorporate new ASR technology into the server, then we'll come out with of course, a new version. But we value customers. We always have, whether they're product customers or consulting customers. So if people want to update to the new version, I'm sure we'll have a very very reasonable price for doing that.
Is there any support for hot words?
For what?
Hot words?
Define hot words.
MRCP just listens until it recognizes the keyword, like I don't know, like Siri or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about continuous mode?
Yes.
Oh,
right.
No.
What's your
Speech Platform 11 doesn't support dictation type.
Yes, it does. Remember, you opted to leave that out for now, but you were talking about adding one of the a header to specify continuous mode, at some point.
Yeah, there's a way of sort of doing it, but unlike the desktop version of the recognition engine, the speech platform engine, which is Microsoft.speech instead of System.speech, doesn't natively support dictation. So right now, it's you provide those ASR words in the C# call, or you format your own srgs grammar file, and that's what it's going to use.
Yeah, if you
Alright.
plug in if you plug in the future the other speech engine, the online version, in other words, the commercial Cortana.
Yes,
If that's
that's how we would support that. Actually, you're quite exactly right, Dave. The the API for both the desktop version of speech platform, and that's actually not called speech platform. I think it's the one that they use via SAPI. Um, the interface is exactly the same between both. The speech platform 11 is optimized for telecom voice recognition. Okay, the one native to Windows 7 and 8 and is optimized for basically wave PCM input. Okay, from attached mics. So, but the interface is exactly the same. So one of the things we will probably do as a next feature capability will to if we get a dictation mode request using a vendor specific parameter um, that you can specify according to the MRCP standard, then we would then actually make use of that. We would actually make use of the desktop version um, in dual operation, so to speak, with the speech platform 11. And then it supports dictation, including hot words.
Ray, I was more referring to the online service one that you're in the pre-trial
Oh,
beta for.
yeah, the Microsoft, uh, the underlying. Well, first of all, there's Cortana, which is of course Microsoft's product name for. Is it all of the interfaces, Dave, that do speech interactions, or is it include video and so forth?
No,
When you say
there was the you had signed up for the cloud service, you know, pre beta that you just
right,
got
yeah,
accepted
okay,
to.
yeah, right,
Right.
okay.
That's
The
going
under,
to be offered commercially as Bing Cortana when it becomes available. And you were talking about being able to plug and replace the speech engine with the server platform with that engine instead.
right,
And
okay.
and with
I just
that
want to make
one, yeah, you will have all of that stuff. Unfortunately, you'll also have to subscribe to the service from Microsoft to use that engine, and you know, but
yeah,
it is not commercially available yet. It's in a pre-release beta, in other words, only to select invited people right now.
yeah. It sort of gets into future product plans and enhancements, but with regard to what Dave's saying, Microsoft's Cortana speech interactions uh, technology, the underlying and interface, the underlying actual recognition and text to speech is implemented by what's called Project Oxford, um, which was actually previewed at the last Build conference, and we have implemented a evaluation interface to Project Oxford, and in fact, have evaluated its speech recognition in contrast to Speech Platform 11. So, but Microsoft has that Project Oxford direct interface strictly in beta, and it's not available as a commercial offering. So, uh, other than evaluating it, we can't include it in our product lineup. However, That said, once Microsoft does put it forward as a product and says, okay, here's what we're going to charge for each dip or each query to it, okay, then we can go ahead and wrap it in an MRCP server and then make it available directly, either as an additional capability within the existing MRCP server, or as a separate product. Okay.
All right, Ray, Dave, thanks for coming and joining us today. Once we get this video edited down a little bit, we will get this posted up on YouTube. For anybody wanting to get the phone number easily for the test, or any of the URLs that Ray has mentioned, they will be down at the bottom of your screen in the notes section of the video, so you guys can check those out there. Also, we'll be back here next week. Kathleen, who do we have joining us next week?
We have FlowRoute joining us next week.
Who's joining us from FlowRoute? Is it Justin?
It is Justin Grow.
Cool. So you guys will definitely want to be back here next Wednesday at noon Central, 1 Eastern. And we'll have the FlowRoute team joining us there to show off some stuff. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/FreeSwitch, and on Facebook to get the news and announcements. And also visit freeswitch.org on a regular basis to see what's being posted on the blog there. We'll see you guys next week. Y'all have a good week. Thank you.
And thank you.